Welcome to the show, and here are your hosts, the diabolical Elite Gaming Guru, the illustrious Red Dead Panda, and the Australian stud Ashtray Gaming. So let's get this party started. Shit.
We are live, Elite.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really hard. Sorry, everyone. This is really frustrating because I'm like 10 seconds behind Red Panda because we live in different countries and there's Anyway, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Gamers Initiative podcast, episode 49. And we've got a special guest today, Dauntless. Hello, Mr. Dauntless. How are you doing?
Good. How's everyone?
We're doing really well. Tell everyone where they can find you, because just to let the panel, or everyone who's watching us live know, Dauntless is one of the guys we usually see in the chat. So he's kindly stepped in and replaced Ashtray this week because Ashtray is not well. So do see
Ashtray's. I just thought I'd cover this. Ashtray's apparently got some weird rash. Down below. He didn't want us to mention it, but yeah, he's gone to doctors. He's got some sort of something growing, some fungus or something growing down below. So he's gone there to have that removed. I know.
He's actually not well, but that's all I'm going to say about it. You're so mean.
I almost know what you're talking about, but I won't say any more than that.
Yeah. We'll look after his privacy around that.
Yeah.
But yeah, where can people find you, Dauntless? And thank you so much for stepping in. But yeah, great to have you with us. But yeah, where can we find you?
Yeah, pretty much you can find me everywhere at Dauntless Dragon X for the most part.
Yes, we're friends on Xbox Live, and we still need to catch up for a gaming session. But yeah. You always have great arguments. Elite has great arguments with you in Twitter, so it's just interesting to watch that to watch it unfold. But yeah, what have you been up to this week? Like, what games have you been playing? Yeah.
Well, right now I'm getting back on Recore.
Is it good? I haven't played
but
that game.
Pretty much. Just
didn't Recore just release, or isn't it released on PlayStation? No, not Recore. No, sorry, I'm getting mixed up with Super Lucky Tail. Sorry, completely different games. Go on, sorry, continue, Dauntless.
I've been jumping on UFC 3 and 4, and just everything in between, really.
Oh yeah.
I just downloaded Guardians of the Galaxy.
Did you download it via Game Pass?
And
Have you played it before?
I played a little bit of it so far.
Did you play it before Game Pass though?
Nah, let's be honest, guys. We've got paychecks.
we all held out for it to go to Game Pass. To be honest, it did look that impressive. And playing it, I can see sort of the amusement of it. I know a lot of people like it, but it's.
So
it's all right.
I'm gonna cut you out of the podcast now, Elite, because you're a disgrace to gamers everywhere.
Oh, sorry.
It's a good game. It is a.
I like sort of like the story and the premise of it and stuff. Yeah, but I wouldn't have paid 60. Was it £60? I wouldn't have paid £60 for it.
No.
So I didn't.
Would you pay 70?
Yeah. Would you pay?
No, I certainly wouldn't have paid 70 for it. No.
No. Hey, but at least with it being released later on Game Pass, it meant that ray tracing update and all these other stability updates were available for the version that we got to play, because I didn't buy it initially. I just got it through Game Pass. Yeah. But Elite, I'm just going to take over right now. What have you been up to, and what games have you been playing other than Conan, probably?
I'm really heavily into Hunt Showdown.
That's the high I've ever seen playing.
Yeah, I need to get more people into it, but because I could do some help. It's really hard to play it without mics and stuff. Yeah, you need to give it a go and team up with me. I need more people because it'd be much better on mics. The game's very hard because if you die, you lose everything. Your character resets basically. Yeah. So and I've set myself a challenge that you can make about up to 8 characters, and so far I've got 5 characters that I've maxed out, and then I'll make a new character. So yeah, so that's quite a challenge because obviously you get to level, you max out at level 50, and I've got 5 characters level 50, so I've got a few more to go. But obviously if they die, they go back to 0. So you can see it's quite a challenge that I've set myself. So.
Oh yeah.
But I've not played much else. I need to get back into Conan, and I need to get into Tunic.
Yeah,
There's just too many games though, because I want to play Tunic. I want to play.
Why are there too many games? Xbox has no
Guardians of
games.
Galaxy. I know. Guardians of Galaxy. I need to play Guardians of Galaxy because I did start that, and I need. What's the other thing that just recently dropped on Game Pass?
Oh my god, there's so Weird West. That's what the game.
There is some Weird West. Yeah, I want to try Weird West as well.
That's what the gameplay is up on. Is me playing a little bit of Weird West for like maybe an hour.
Oh yeah, I forgot you do gameplay.
You forgot I played games, did you say?
Yeah. No, I forgot you do gameplay.
Yeah.
You need to
leave the
you need to
kitchen
put this
to
content
go
onto your
play
channel.
video games.
You need to put this content on. You need to do like Red Dead plays games or plays or whatever, and do some like just you chatting and playing a game.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk while playing games unless I'm giving people shit.
Give you people shit while you're playing the game. Just randomly insult people.
Well,
but
I was playing Halo last night and I was annoyed. I got teabagged, and then the guy who died on top of my body then got teabagged as well, and I was like, this is so uncomfortable.
That sounds really wrong, yeah. So he was teabagging you, and then died while teabagging you,
and then
fell on you,
teabagged,
and then he got teabagged. So he's like,
it was just
a triple teabag.
pile up of teabagging, and I was just like...
That's a usual occurrence for Halo, though, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just I wish that it didn't happen. I mean, we came up with a saying for the female version, and I'll leave that alone.
Funny enough, it never was what I'm saying.
Ashtray wants to know, what's the female version of teabagging?
When you play with us, you'll hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll leave it there because you'll probably like capture me saying it and then play it all the time. I don't trust you, Elite.
Wow. I just want to do a quick shout out to, because we've got quite a good comments. We've got quite a few people in the chat at the moment. Yeah. Everyone, can you please drop a like? We've had 17 views so far, so I think that's the highest. All getting there. And no, it's not 21. I think it was 22. Hello, Try Hard fan. Fuck you. Other Zinc. We've got Other Zinc here. Ashtray, obviously. Have we got anyone else in? We had Tando in.
Yep, we had Mr. Keemer in it.
Mr. Keemer's in there, yeah.
People are going to start...
Thank you all for joining us week on the week. And usually Daltonus would be in the chat, but he's here. Yeah. So, very last minute, he messaged me on what's it called, Twitter, Daltonus, and he was like, can I join you one time? And I was like to Red, Daltonus wants to join us, and you was like, yeah, let's do it. And we did it. I was at work at the time. I don't know where we was at the time, Red. I was at work, and I was like, oh.
I was I don't know what time it was, but I don't know what I was doing actually, to be honest. But yeah, people will realize I'm actually just as nice in person as I am in chat and playing video games with. So, not a scary person, and I'm genuine because I'm a Kiwi, New Zealander. But we should totally get into the topics because all I've been really doing is playing Weird West, some Division, Halo. But yeah,
Division.
Yeah, Division 2, which we played on Community Game Night. And we played some Fortnite with Ashtray on Community Game Night. We played squads. We won like 5 or 6 games in a row. And then our last game before we logged off, we lost. And it was so upsetting.
That is, and then you feel like you want to keep playing now just to sort of correct it.
Yeah, basically. But I was like, no, I need to go to bed. All right, well, let's get into our topics. Do you want to lead us off, Elite, with our first topic?
Yes, so topic number one. Right, PlayStation quietly drops the annual subscription for PlayStation Plus before the rebrand release in June. Yeah. Rebrand of PS Plus and PS Now launching in June.
Read everything, I don't know why. But yeah.
Yes, so, yeah, they quietly basically said that they're removing the annual subscription. And the interesting thing about this, before I sort of let Daltonus dive into this, is that there was a lot of sites like GameSpot, I believe, and IGN were making the comparison between PS Plus, Plus Now Plus, and Game Pass. but based on the annual subscription only, wasn't it? They're saying this one costs this much, one costs this much, which is the best. Did you see that? That advert? I think it was GameSpot did that, which is the best. But now, obviously, Thingy's lost its annual subscription, so now it's £18 a month.
I'm just
The end. That's all there is. So,
I'm going to
go on, Dauntless. Go on. Sorry.
I was just going to derail you guys for a second, and I've realised I do have to tell you what the female version of a teabag is. Fuck you.
Oh,
it's not
really?
a taco
Oh, is it
dip.
fuck you?
It's not a taco dip. It is a flap slap. That's what it is.
There
That
you go.
is the actual correct annotation for
What is it again?
a flap slap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, this is no longer PG-13, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dauntless. It's the afternoon and you're like, I didn't drink enough for this. I will get you, what is your thoughts on PlayStation dropping that yearly subscription for PS Now? Oh, PS Plus, sorry. Oh my god, it's so confusing. Can't wait to
All
Let's
I
look at
know
the-
is PlayStation fans just defending it, saying that it's okay for them to do it.
Why? So Dauntless as a pony or a PlayStation fanboy, like try hard in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. So why would they defend this though? I can't. I mean, it was hard to swallow in the first place, but now defending them dropping the annual subscription, which is their only argument why it was better than Game Pass, that's dropped now. It's £18 a month for basic backwards compatibility and demos.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine on that.
Would you buy this? Would you pay into this service for £18 a month? As a player?
If I already have Game Pass, I probably won't. I mean,
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it just depends really on this situation, I guess.
If they went day and date, would you pay into it? £18 a month.
Maybe.
Do you think it's fair that they've done this when Xbox has been the opposite around encouraging people to do that transition over? Like, they just get their Xbox Live or Gold, and then they're like, for $1 you can change to Ultimate, and they're not discouraging that. Do you think it's fair that PlayStation is like, they've figured out the fact that people are trying to get that annual subscription so that when it changes over in June to the new rebranded version of PS Plus, that they all get converted to premium, and they've got like years of free premium available? Do you think it's fair that they're doing that? What are your thoughts on that? Yeah. Just like to hear about that, yeah.
Well, honestly, I don't think it's fair for people who aren't well off, you know.
No, it's not. £18 a month's a lot of money. Well, it's £3 more than Game Pass.
For the biscuit, we're talking about that, and you know, because in New Zealand, y'all have to pay like what, 100 something for a game. You know, it's like,
It's like a
Yeah.
I mean, that's already enough as it is. You know.
Yeah, so it's $109 for the, like, I guess the $60 equivalent, and it's $119 for the $70 equivalent of games in New Zealand. So it's I mean, paying that, it's and then paying a subscription fee on top. It's not ideal. No, I would agree with you.
Yeah. No. So that part I did understand when you mentioned that.
But do you think it's fair? I mean, like, they're about to change over to the other one. That it doesn't really make a difference because it's only a couple of months away. Are we blowing this out of proportion? Thoughts?
Well, I don't see how they're charging $18 for it for the premium when Game Pass is only $15.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit shit.
I was just saying to try hard now. Because Returnal now is going to PS now, isn't it? So I I assume that's because the sales weren't. I think Dauntless has seen the chats I've been having Twitter. It only sold 500,000 at launch, which isn't much. I mean, a lot of them are saying that's great sales, that's fantastic for sales, and give the argument it being niche. But obviously, they wanted to push it better. They want to make it more, and now it's going to PS Now. So, would games like that, niche games, do better if they went to PS Now Day One, or whatever it's called now, PS Now Plus Now and Plus Day One?
Not. I mean, they did say that it could change later.
Yeah,
so
they did. All right, Elite. What are your thoughts on this at the moment? And then feel free to jump in any time, Dauntless, and interrupt us. We go off on tangents.
Yeah, we do
as
off.
You know this.
Well, I was just going to say, I think the other depressing thing about this is MLB The Show, which is going to Game Pass Day One, and it has free content. Have you seen the free content they give away with it? So, and I just find it odd that they've not put this on their new system, their new service, MLB The Show. So you still have to pay $70 if you've got PlayStation. I know they're desperately trying to avoid the Day One thingy, but for games like MLB The Show, which are annual releases, and they're there's these sporty-esque games that rely on sort of MTs and things like that. Like GT Sport, GT7, I think would have been great as a Day One release on it. I'm not sure. I mean, everyone would have just bought into GT7. There wouldn't be half the issue now, GT7, if it was Day One on this service, and it would have been excellent to promote this service. We're bringing out this new service, just to say it's Spartacus, because it's much easier to say than whatever they've called it. We're bringing out a new service called Spartacus, and to launch it, GT7's going to launch with it Day One, day and date. Bosh. There wouldn't have been half the issues or problems surrounding MTs if it released straight on that service day and date.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be, would there? But I think the fact that it's £70, then they sort of want you to pay for overpriced MTs. I think that's where people's issues come from. And then it's the same as I think with Returnal. I think the sale was dropped, and then they're thinking, right, maybe we need to recoup something here. Let's put it on PlayStation Plus. But then you got to sometimes wonder, is it now too late? So I think the only people that it's going to address are maybe because this setup is on PC as well, isn't it? The PlayStation Spartacus thing is on PC as well, isn't it?
Nope.
Is it not? Is it only PlayStation?
Currently only PlayStation.
Because PS Plus is on PS Now is on PC.
I don't know, actually. They didn't announce anything about PC when they did the announcement, right? Am I missing something? Is it coming to PC, or have I just completely missed something in what I've read about it? Maybe I'm going crazy. I don't know. But I guess for me, like, the reason why this is the topic for me this week on our podcast is purely just because, like, honestly, I think it's a bit disingenuous that they have taken away the yearly subscription so that people, because they're getting converted to premium, right? You're still getting all this money coming through. Just give these guys premium free for a year or something, like in the transition. I mean, like, for people who are trying to get into this subscription because they'll get access to their cloud saves, which I still don't think should be behind a paywall, and they'll get access to a whole heap of other things. But what I wish, so the reason why it's in this topic is because a lot of the gamers out there are deflecting around this move by PlayStation to get rid of the yearly subscription so people can't take advantage of when in June it changes over, they get automatically transitioned over to premium at no additional cost. So they want to make money. They're at a business at the end of the day, and they're looking at ways to make money. Now, looking at the amount of subscribers already on PS Plus and the people who subscribe to PS Now, and so on and so forth, when it goes live in June, they'll all be one number, and it'll look like quite a big number, which is really, really good, and they'll be getting all that money in and so on and so forth. I wish that they had actually just announced, we are going to take away the upgrade fee of $10 on your games on next-gen titles. So you are not going to have to fork out the $10 that we think is the premium cost to take advantage of the PS5, because they're getting a constant stream of money in through the subscription, and they've got their gamers have a choice of which tier they want to join. And it's really hard to look at this in a way and go, oh, I'm happy to pay subscription fee. And I'm also happy to pay for $70 games. And in New Zealand, 119, well, technically $120 games. Plus a subscription fee. And looking at what the costing is going to be. Like, it's not... I don't know what it is, but, like, gaming is an extremely expensive hobby. For anyone, you can't deny. Like, I think I said last podcast, I spent about, like 20 grand in the last 10 years on gaming.
Yeah. Well, I think. Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think we touched on this last week. Was it last week when we said about at the end of the day you're paying £18 a month to trial a game, which they would like you to then afterwards, after you've paid £18 a month, then buy the game for an additional £70 a month. That's £70. Yes, so that's like.
But they're deflecting.
It seems like double dipping.
They're deflecting and going, Xbox has pulled off their their yearly subscription for Gold.
That was awkward.
But that's like 2 years ago. Yeah, sorry, Dauntless, what were you going to say?
And then you got some people saying that, oh, they're not going to use the service because they don't like to rent games.
Yeah.
They
want to buy physical, like they want to own their games. Yeah.
You know who?
Yeah. Sappho said, "Nice try. But if you notice, Sony will not sacrifice their bottom line for anyone or anything." I agree, they won't, and it would just be nice to see that they will be willing to do that. I don't know. This just feels like a very different Sony this generation, where they're more focused on their bottom line. And last generation, they were so consumer friendly around for the game or for the players, and like, this is how you share old games and all this other stuff, or this is how you share games. It's hard to look at it.
More... Do you think they're scraping the barrel? Do you think they're really worried for revenue?
Here's the thing. They're like Nintendo in that way. They're so stuck in their ways that but in a bad way.
Yep. It's like, feels like a bit like the PS3 generation, where they really just weren't hitting the mark, and then they changed their tactic, and
they got too greedy for their own good.
I want them to change.
They got too greedy.
I want them to change the tactic. I mean, like, I would be more than happy to really go into that ecosystem. Honestly, we'll talk about it later about the liquid metal, but like, if I felt like I was getting bang for my buck, essentially, like, actually my money meant something, but it doesn't, because it feels like they're just trying to bleed you dry. And I mean, I'm happy to buy, there are some games I want to buy physically, and only because of the, like, collector's editions and games. But I wish that if you could go to a store, get a collector's edition, and they just give you a digital code. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that, because I've got so many game, like, cases that they just take up so much room. So I'm trying to declutter. Like, I say try to declutter.
Seriously,
I buy merchandise all the time.
That's why I hate physical. I hate evidence. Yeah, that's what I've been digital for about 10 years now. I hate having discs.
What were you saying?
Except I'm only that way with games, though. Yeah. Everything else I still do physical.
I'm like that too, yeah.
Which is funny.
But yeah, that's the other thing about, like, the whole argument that I like to own my games. For one, we know that you don't really own them. The GT7s prove that. Even physically, even if you've got the game physical, if they take the game offline, you still can't play it. So your disc is worthless. Yeah. So that whole argument's already gone out the window, and we've been saying that for years. You don't really own your games; you just own the license of it, which the company actually really sort of controls. But the thing is about the whole argument that, you know, games on Game Pass, we don't want to rent our games, we want to buy them. They just glance over the fact that the Xbox gamers can still buy the games. You don't only have to rent them; you can still buy them.
A lot of us do.
Yeah, and you get a 20% discount off the games, so you can play them for as much as you want. If you like the game, then you can buy it at a 20% discount, not at full price like Sony's doing. They're $70 games, $30 games. You just buy a discount.
And I've always said this too. When games go on sale on Xbox, they're usually cheaper than they are on PlayStation.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Wow. Well, you would know because you've got both a PlayStation and an Xbox. So yeah, that's good to know.
Well, I
used
used to, anyways.
Ooh,
What have you sold?
changed. You sold.
What have you got rid of? Which
My
one?
PS4 hard drive failed.
Oh shit! Sorry about that.
No.
Yeah.
I
But still have
apologize.
a
Elite's like,
PS3 though.
no, and he doesn't mean it.
No. no. Yeah, no.
Oh, you're so
But what
mean,
the-
Elite.
I suppose they would. I suppose they would repair it now, would they? Well, Sony's really against repairing stuff anyway.
You just get it put it.
Well, yeah, it just would cost $100 to do it.
I read that. Who is that? I watched the podcast. I think it was the where they
I think
charge.
to send it in
you to
anyways to
repair.
get a new hard
Yeah.
drive would be that much.
Well, we would.
Even under warranty, they charge you $100 to get repairs. That's awful. That's terrible. That is. So you've not got PS5. So you're going to stick with your Xbox for now.
Well, that just depends on availability whenever they sort out their
What they're doing, yeah, with that.
chip situation, which E.G.G now is blaming Xbox for.
yeah. I don't know why. Like, if you look at it, Xbox, Microsoft does so much business with AMD outside of just console gaming.
Yeah.
So to be disingenuous and talk about like this is like Xbox's fault that PlayStation can't do this, well, they have to allocate what they need ahead of time, and they were saying like the allocations are like 6 months in advance at the moment, so it's just making sure that you allocate enough. And when you look at the allocations, you can make 2 Series S's to 1 Series X, and Series X's have been very much in low stock because they were replacing them, the server blades, so all the Series X's were going there. You're starting to see a lot more Series X's come into the wild now that they're not having to split their yield like that, and they can.
I kind of wish I
consumer
waited.
market. Yeah,
Back when I got my Series S,
you do.
I had the option of waiting.
Wait,
I wish
wait
I
for-
had now.
Because of the availability for the X.
Uh,
I
When
own
did you get
both.
But at the
Yes.
same time, I don't regret it because I got to play the medium. So,
Did you enjoy
Yeah.
that? Yeah, I haven't played that game because I'm
which
scared cat.
actually, back when you asked what my game of the year was, I said I said Scarlet Nexus,
Hmm.
but really I have to give honorable mention to the medium
Oh,
because
wow. That was your.
honestly,
Good. I tried it for half hour and I didn't like it. I struggle. Everyone knows this now. I struggle with single player games anyway. And after half hour that I was just walking around, I was like, bored, delete. Sorry.
I mean, obviously it's not for everybody.
Nah,
I mean,
no.
it is
Nah.
kind of one of those.
People hype up all the Max Payne games and I've never been interested in them.
Oh, speaking of which, I can't wait for those to come out because
Yeah. Well, that's another topic. I think we'll get on that. But before we get on to that game, should we get on to Abandoned? Wow.
Sorry,
What?
I'm allergic.
You're
to
right. You're right.
Just allergic to
You're not. Oh, I thought you was
dying. Oh yeah,
no.
I got
thought you
that
was
rash from.
team
Oh,
flap
that
slapping. I thought you was flap slapping then.
Can't even finish that sentence. Oh my god. Okay.
oh,
Sorry.
speaking of random topic, but did y'all hear that Will Smith got banned from the Oscars for 10 years?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, he's been banned for 10 years. So he got. I thought they would have took his. We've gone off a bit here, but I thought they would have took his Oscar away from him, but they've not. They just banned him for 10 years, which is a bit weird. But
I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't take away from his performance, so I guess. But I mean, a performance in the movie, not his performance on stage, obviously. But I don't really like. There's lots of things to talk about that. And I mean, I think it's fair the 10-year ban. But yeah, I did not know that it was 10 years. Interesting.
yeah, he's got
I
10 year
mean,
ban.
that's a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say that he just let him off without any time. you know. But
I've,
like
I've,
10
yeah,
years,
worked well on it. Yeah,
that's
that's a long time. I won't dwell on too much, but I think he's a man in a lot of pain. I think from a lot of stuff. I think there's something going on emotionally with him, and I think yeah.
All right, but back to
But let's get on to abandoned. Only because Tryhard doesn't want to cover this point, so let's cover abandoned.
let's abandon this topic. Yeah, I feel that.
So yeah, so recently the one single dev,
Developer Blue Box.
done Blue Box, the company Blue Box, which consists of one man, that's not really got any of this. Does he have any qualifications in game development or anything?
No, I think he was a scammer in a previous life. He's got plenty of qualifications there.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I played Dreams. That's my qualification. I think that's what his qualification is. He played Dreams. Now he's a developer.
Yeah.
So he had
Spark.
Project Spark. I love Project Spark. I actually made this is why I said when Dreams come out, I said to PlayStation fans, just like this game won't last. It will go down exactly the same route as Project Spark, and I love Project Spark, and I spent a load of time making some really good games on it. I made a really good 4-player co-op, like RPG, sort of like I didn't really play Fable, but like Fable, like Baldur's Gate. It was kind of like Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah.
And it took me ages, and but nobody was playing it, and nobody would play your game, so it was just a waste of time. And I said to the PlayStation fans, Dreams will die, because at the end of the day, people want to play games. They don't want to spend, and it takes a lot of your time, weeks on weeks on weeks, making games that no one's ever going to play.
Do you know why Dreams died?
Sorry?
Because Xbox Series X came out, and that's powers your dreams instead. Yeah, so.
Oh, that's lovely.
Just wanna put that out there. Sorry, no, that's sad when a game dies.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and I said to him, it's going to die, and I didn't want it to die because I love those kind of games. But they was like, oh, you're only saying that because you're an Xbox fanboy. And I said, no, Project Spark, I loved it, but it died. It did, and I spent weeks making games that no one played. The same what happened to Dreams. It did. It
All right,
did.
I'm going to put us back onto topic because you and I like to derail everything and so on and so forth. But like, yeah, I did. Developer Blue Box Games said that they underestimated the development roadmap for their game, but it's definitely not been cancelled.
Yes. It's not been cancelled because it never existed.
Yeah.
Why.
Have you been following this at all, Dauntless? Did you see all the stuff around Abandoned previously? And just shout out to Dauntless. Give him he's doing great. So first time joining us, so thank you so much. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Have you been following this at all? Ooh.
Is he there?
Are you still there?
Yeah, Dauntless. I think he might have gone.
Ooh. I can't hear you.
Oh. We're now literally Dauntless.
He said be right back. 1 moment. Yeah, so Elite, what are your thoughts?
He's gone for a poo as well. Right, so yes, so it's ridiculous. Well, I don't get why this guy has not been arrested. He's clearly robbing people. He's clearly claiming to be a game developer and he's working on games. What come out in this Colin Moriarty podcast is that those 3 minutes he showed about 6 months ago is all he's literally made of the game. That's all there is to it, and that's all he's done. And he's asking for money to fund an entire game, which he's apparently done 3 times previously. He said, give me money, I'm going to make this game. He took people's money, didn't make the game, just instead moved on to another project, and then asked for money for that game. He's doing it again. And he's obviously playing on the PlayStation fan base, because he's all pushing it towards them, saying it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, it's going to be epic and that, and they're all like, oh yeah, amazing, this is Kojima in the making, this is like secret, like this is Silent Hill, and they're all supporting it, and they're probably throwing money at him because they're idiots, and it's daylight robbery again. He's like Jim Ryan in disguise. You are Jim Ryan in disguise. You are Jim Ryan in disguise. That's what we say in the UK.
It wasn't cancelled, it was abandoned. I agree with you there, Sappho. But yeah, so basically the game itself, the reason why it's come back into the news this week is it isn't because the developer has anything new to show at all. Basically, they were removing stuff off the Twitter account, and that started rumors going maybe the game's been cancelled, but the developer said definitely it hasn't been cancelled. It's just changing. So it's just interesting because it's meant to be a survival horror game, and they used a lot of things to kind of get hype behind the game, like the fact that people thought it might have been Silent Hill. Because they're like,
they still think it.
and they were like, no, it's
They
survival.
still think it's Silent Hill as well. Yeah.
Survival and stuff like that. Honestly, until you've actually got something to say, just don't. That's my thoughts there. I mean, if you need to get support in behind a Kickstarter, tell actually people what you intend to do with the game, the roadmap, everything like that. No one's gonna put money into your game at this point any longer because of the crap that you've been pulling the last couple of years with it, and no one has faith in you anymore as a developer. But
who did? None of us did, no.
Not
PlayStation fans.
Who knows?
But Astray's got a super chat there. Do you want to read it out?
Where is it? Super chat. Why is Elite such a fraud? Elite, why are you such a fraud? Can you please answer this?
I'm here, Astray, you're not, because you've got genital warts or something. So who's the real fraud?
I love how you keep changing his disease he's got.
It's so many. He has so many. Well, the truth is, actually, he did tell me. He went in.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go on. Oh, Dauntless is back.
Dauntless, you're back. What were you going to say?
I was just saying it sounded worse than what you just called it.
Yeah, sure. The real truth is that he was getting anal bleaching and he didn't want to let anyone know. But and he was going to make a video about it.
No comment.
Anyway. This is great. You started it with the flaps. You started it with the flap slap.
No, that is a legitimate thing. You started it.
That's not legit. There's no point of 343 come out with yes. We've now introduced the flap slap to the game.
The game is for the community.
The old downloadable DLC.
The game is for the community. Halo did not come out initially and bring out teabagging. That's what other people brought out. So
that's been there since Halo first came out.
Yeah, it's been there since Halo first came out, but like that wasn't. I mean, they did program their bots to do it, but
you don't know one's a women and one's a men. And if they had a sort of female Spartan that you could play, then you'd still understand it. But they're all men. Actually, I wonder why they've not introduced a female Spartan into the game.
There's rumors of that happening, but
right.
Dauntless, are you at all surprised about what's happening with Abandon? Have you been following what's happening with Abandon, or are we ready to abandon this topic?
Well, anything to do with Kojima, I mean, I'm always wondering about because you never know with him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I do know he likes to troll, so.
Yeah, he does. Is he going to have trolls in his next game? That'll be great. It could just be an Easter egg of him as a troll in a game, trolling.
It's not Kojima. It's not Kojima.
It's not Kojima, though. No.
They just crushed that rumor.
Weird guy doing it.
But I understand why people are thinking this could be Silent Hill. Because
really, why?
Well, just because, I mean, knowing Kojima and how he has been in the past, with his game reveals.
Why they thought it might have been Kojima. Yeah, no, I get that.
And the whole blue box.
But you still don't think it's Kojima, do you?
It being blue box kind of has me thinking, because.
But they did come out and say like.
If you remember his one that he came out with that was fake, called Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did come out with that fake. Yeah, he has done that in the past. But I mean, like, I'm just trying to think. The developer from Blue Box said like they mentioned it starts with an S and ends with an L, and everyone's like Silent Hill, and he was like actually survival.
Yeah, I'm making stuff.
So yeah, I think they were just trying to build up hype any way that they could and get buy-in, and it's kind of.
I mean, in no way am I.
Let's use the Kojima name. Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
Because there's really no actual evidence in the trailer itself, but
Yeah. The guy from Blue Box is a con artist. I agree with you there,
Um,
Ashtray. I agree with you 100%.
He is a con
Scam
artist, and he's mugging people off. And I'm actually shocked that people still think it could be Kojima or still a game. And he's still. I just hope. I suppose you could believe that. Believe what you like, but just
he
not
won't
give
make
this
it
man money.
obvious.
Do not give this man money at all costs. That's my only point.
Sorry, what were you saying, Dauntless?
If it is him, he won't make it obvious. You know, like
he won't.
Yeah.
But
he's ruined the game, he's ruined nothing.
That's what he's good at. He can keep a secret as long as he needs to.
That is, yeah, that's true. He can keep a secret as long as he needs to. Yep, I agree.
But, yeah.
I just think this is the last thing I'm gonna say on Abandoned in general. Is like until you actually have something to show us, just don't. Like, I'm not going to give you any more airtime, think about you at all, or anything like that. And I guess I'm just sick of cheeky developers trolling the community to a degree. Like memes are fine, but like this sort of crap. You've got to realize that you're just burning bridges, and consumers aren't going to really want to purchase your product if you continuously burn bridges. I mean, I know this sounds horrible. Initially, GT7 with their user review of like 1 point whatever it was, but Tryhard did put in the chat that it's now a lot better, the game itself. They've made huge improvements there, so well done. But like, when you start burning bridges and consumers get a sour taste in their mouth, they're not likely to want to invest or put any time or money into a project of yours unless you can be seen to be genuine. Yeah.
The Turn 10 Studios, on the other hand, are now sending out game invites for feedback. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this, Dauntless?
Do what?
Turn 10 Studios are sending out game invites for feedback.
Yeah.
So they're sending out game invites, and you can play it and then give feedback on it, I assume. I don't know. I don't know how much the game you get. Oh, no, yes. The Turn 10, send out codes to select people, insiders, to play the game and then to give them feedback.
Yeah, so Forza insiders have been sent emails to participate in a Forza Motorsports flighting. So they're wanting a program from Forza insiders. And so that's kind of brought up the uptake around how far away is the new Forza Motorsports game, if they're now encouraging gamers to be involved in some flighting. Have you played previous Forza Motorsports games?
I have a little bit of 5, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
so
played
yeah.
I remember playing that. That was when they first added the we had the rumble triggers on the OG Xbox. Not OG, sorry, Xbox One. And that
Xbox One,
and that was like the tech demo of how the controllers work, and like you got to play that initially when they first showed it before the consoles released in 2013. And I was like, ooh. But I haven't really played much Forza Motorsports. I'm more of a Forza Horizon fan. But do you think this indicates that the game is probably further ahead and maybe coming out later this year? What are your thoughts?
Definitely coming out this year.
If it does, there's going to be a lot of crying ponies.
Yeah, because you're going to have GT7, which is still sort of on the ropes, and then Forza Motorsport's going to come out as an actual next-gen only game, and it's just going to haymaker it, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's just going to go by and just push it aside for a second, because last time this happened, it was Forza Horizon 7 versus GT Sport, and Forza Horizon 7 just shoved GT Sport aside.
Forza Horizon 7?
Forza Motorsport 7 just pushed. They come out at the same time as GT Sport, didn't it?
I knew you were just elite.
GT Sport got pushed aside. Yeah. So yeah, I called it a couple of years ago. Forza Motorsport this year, definitely. And the thing is, you think they used to churn these games out every 2 years? The Forza Motorsports. Mm-hmm. Now they've taken 4 or 5 years to produce this game. So
I remember they were putting out that like left and right faster.
Yeah.
Polyphony could get one Gran Turismo out.
Yeah. They was like 4, 5.
But now they've actually taken 5 years to make this game. Yeah, so 2017 was GT's Forza Motorsport 7, so it's been 5 years. So they've actually gone from a game they used to churn out every 2 years, which still used to rate and do really well, to they've taken more than twice as long to produce this game. So I can only imagine it's, and they've always said they've really revamped the whole lot of it, and just because I heard Playground Games were actually helping them out and doing stuff with them, working with them on some stuff. So I think I think they really want to blow minds, especially how GT7 sort of hit the ground. I think they know now what not to do and what to do, and I think it's just going to be a next-gen only game, a racer. I don't really care about races at all. I won't play it most likely, but I think it's going to hit the ground just running, and it's just going to be like, wow, okay, this is now next gen, and it's definitely releasing this year, and I'm going to predict October. So there.
Speaking of, PS5 still hasn't had any next gen only games since
Demon's Souls?
None that's worth buying a PlayStation 5 for.
Was it Demon's Souls or Returnal?
But you wouldn't buy a PlayStation 5 for that. Yeah.
Actually, I've
they've had Returnal, they've had Ratchet & Clank, they've had Demon's Souls. But would you buy a PlayStation 5 for those games?
I mean, it's
a remake. It's exactly the same game. They just updated graphics, and I think they tweaked some parts of the game. Like I think they added rolling and stuff like that. Other than that,
sorry. What were you going to say?
Honestly, if I wanted to play it that bad, I could go back and I have the option to, but honestly, it's been this long that I haven't, and I've been okay without it, to be honest.
Demon's Souls?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it is a very beautiful game. It was what, oh my god, why can't I think of their name anymore? Blue something. What is their name?
Blue Point.
Thank you, Blue Point, because I've just got Blue Box in my head after that stupid abandoned topic. They did a good job, and I'm glad that they got acquired by PlayStation. Well deserved. They're a good studio. But is there anything that you're excited or want to see specifically around Forza Motorsports? If it does release this year, Dauntless, anything that you kind of like, I really want to see, because it's on a new engine.
To be honest, I'm still pretty new to the series. Like I haven't really gotten into it that much.
Do you think it's going to be a showpiece for what the console could potentially do? Because I mean, that was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That was.
I mean, I think they've already demonstrated that with the Horizon.
Oh yes. What? Was Horizon on the new engine, or was Horizon on the previous engine? I actually don't know. I can't remember. Forza 5.
Funny
5,
that
yeah.
you mentioned that, because it is running on the, and it still looks that good.
Yeah. I mean, like 2017. Sorry, I've just dropped down to pick something up. 2017. Oh my god. Xbox One X released, right? And the showpiece to show what the console was available or capable of doing in 4K 60, like a locked 4K 60, for Forza Motorsport 7, and the game looked really, really good, and that was on the old engine. And now they've got super improved CPU, super improved GPU, so you can only imagine what they're going to do for the next gen iteration. And on a new engine. So there might be some still teething problems because it is a new engine. But, I mean, this game should be beautiful. And I think this is a clear sign that they're getting ready to start.
Speaking of next-gen only games, too, though, Gears 6 has people talking already.
Yes. After that UE5 demo, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
I don't think they're working on a Gear 6. I've got a feeling they're working on a new IP. I've got a weird feeling they're working on a new IP completely. That's just me.
It could be.
there was that rumor going around that they've got 2 projects in the works.
Yeah,
Gears
I
and
think they
another
have.
smaller project to fully
Yeah,
teach them how to take advantage of UE5.
yeah. I've got a weird feeling that for one, you're going to hear it, scoop here, people. They're working. Yeah, you've got the team that's working on Gears 6.
Yeah, Gears
Gears 6.
6.
Gears 6. Gears 6. But I reckon you've got another team that's working on that. These are the ones that specialise in this. I would be surprised. I've got a weird feeling. It's just in my bones, and it's maybe the whiskey talking. I've got a feeling they're working on a Marvel game for some reason. I've got a weird feeling they're working on, or maybe DC. They're working on something special, something to
How funny would it
compete
be
with
if it was a
PlayStation.
Marvel game?
How cool would it be if they were working on a Marvel game?
I got a feeling it could. For some reason in my bones, they're working on something like a Punisher game or something like that.
That would be. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I got a weird feeling they're working on something like that.
You could do quite a
some
good
reason.
Daredevil game when you think about it. Like
You could do a Daredevil game. You
Yeah.
could do using the
Yeah.
Unreal Engine, yeah.
'Cause I
And
love-
it running if you use that engine running through the city and running through the buildings and things, and yeah.
that'd be interesting.
I don't know why that is. I don't know why I've got a feeling that they're working on something on the separate scene, working on something else and comp related to compete with. Because just only because of recently, I don't know if you've noticed, they've been advertising a lot of Marvel stuff. Xbox, have you seen that?
Nah. To be
Okay.
honest, I haven't.
So, I've added to Game Pass now. You can download all Marvel comics on digitally to Game Pass. Have you seen that? Or onto the Xbox? Have you seen that? They've added Marvel comics to digitally to Xbox.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, apparently you can. They're adding that. You can see better read the Marvel comics digitally on Xbox. I've added that, and there was what's the other thing? They added something else as well. And I've mentioned it on Twitter. But after I see the second thing that came out, I mentioned on Twitter, and I linked the 2 things. And said they seem to be very Marvel orientated recently, which is sort of kind of red flags or red herring. You never know. But I just don't know. For some reason, I think the coalition are working on something like that, and I think they would be perfect. Do a game that's dark and gritty like Daredevil or the Punisher. Punisher especially.
Or both.
Or both, yeah, or both.
That'd be really, really
But
cool.
yeah,
But just quickly jumping back on a topic around Forza Motorsports flighting, I think that was really cool. Idle Sloth tweeted that out just to kind of FYI to everyone around this, and I was actually pleasantly surprised, and because people have been asking, like, when do you think this game's going to be releasing? And a lot of our community has been saying this year. They're like, really, that soon? And it's like, yeah, I have a feeling. And I think they're going to take some feedback on from the community and see if they need to make any changes, or if what they've been doing with the game is in line with what the community wants around the feel of the game, and so on and so forth for the people who sign up to the Insiders program. But I will definitely give this game a go. I'm more of a Horizon fan because I like my arcade races and stuff, open world. But I will definitely give it a go. Especially I want to see, and my one hope is that there will be ray tracing during gameplay. Fingers crossed to that. Has
Okay.
it gone to sleep because I was talking for too long?
yeah. No, what I was going to bring up next was about the PlayStation 5s being repaired due to the issue with liquid metal leaking thing.
Taking a turn in our topics, I see.
I thought I was.
We're talking about the T1000 or.
Yeah. Now, if Sony had made that, they would make a load of money. And they would probably just trump Microsoft if they got the T1000.
Okay.
It would be the end of humanity, but.
Dauntless, have you seen this on Twitter? There was two posts.
And it has me kind of concerned, actually.
Yeah.
I agree. What? Sorry, go.
I was wanting a PS5, but now it's like, after seeing that, I have flashbacks to when the Red Ring of Death happened.
PS3. Well, no, PS3 had its own. PS3 had also the Red Ring of Death, didn't it?
Oh, it had its own
So-
equivalent.
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it's
Yellow
good.
light
And
everywhere.
the PlayStation 4 also had it as well. Though it's not, it didn't hit the media as much because they were the darlings that generation. But the PS4 also had heat issues as well. Actually, all the PlayStations actually always had heat issues. It's just that they were the
This is
darlings
different
until
though.
PlayStation
This has
3.
to
Yeah.
do with something that's melting inside the,
On the
you know.
APU.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of PC gamers said this. They said liquid cooling is just not a good thing in they don't do it in their PCs. So
They do
I
do
don't
it
know
on
why.
their PCs, but they're very careful because no one's
Very
really,
careful.
No one's really had a look at how if you put liquid metal on this type of system, a closed system as such,
Yeah.
how long the longevity of it is going to last. Like, is it going to damage components over time? Is it going to do
Plus,
this and that?
has liquid metal even ever been used in consoles before?
No, this is the first time. Yeah.
So that's new territory,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
for Sony. I mean,
It's new territory really for PC. So and you can actually customize your PC to allow
Liquid cooling.
for liquid cooling. Whereas the PS5 you can't. It is just a console that's this design, and it's like just get on with it. Basically, whereas PC, if you've got problems, you can sort of redesign your PC. A console, you can't. It's like just oh well. Sort of shrug his shoulders. And Mark Sony walks away, being called a god and a genius by his fan base.
So, are you likely? 'Cause I know you said you wanted to buy a PS5. Are you likely to wait for their mid-gen refresh, or the Pro version of the console, Dauntless, depending on?
I
what
was
they
going
tell
to
us about
wait
it?
for the Slim anyways, but after seeing that, yeah.
It's a tough ask, eh? Yeah, it is.
I mean,
Tryhard says it's not a worldwide issue. You just have to look after your console. I'd be honest. I've never looked after my consoles, and that's the whole point of console compared to PC. I've always thought a console you buy a console, and the beauty of a console that is cheap. It's a cheap but sort of mid-tier budget PC.
Going into.
Yeah, but
this has nothing to do with taking care of your console. This
no,
is
the benefit of a
happening
console is
internally.
that you don't have to take care of it. Yeah, it's meant to be just run, just like anything, like a DVD player. You don't think, well, I better look after my DVD player, or better look after my Blu-ray player.
I mean, I take care of my consoles too, and I've never had a problem with any of them breaking on me, except for a few maybe. But
Yeah.
you can take care of your console all day, and something can go wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'm like you in that regard. Like, sadly, I am on my third Series X. The first one just randomly died. It was the day one. I got it day one. The second one, there was something wrong with the GPU. So I got it replaced. I'm on my third one, and it works perfectly fine. And so this is like the worst experience I've ever had with consoles at this point for me, because I've owned quite a few consoles. I love technology, and love to tinker with computers and all of that stuff. But I've never had an issue until this current gen, and I understand why, like, what's going on around that. But, like, hearing this, like, I had no issue with overheating or anything, and the console is so quiet, it's not even funny. I sometimes don't even know that it's on unless I see the light. But, like, seeing this and them talking about the liquid metal, because obviously when it's liquid, it moves, and they're actually encouraging gamers to not sit it vertically because the liquid metal's tending to pull a little bit at the base, and so it means that the contact with the APU and the heatsink itself looks to be burning. It's like it's not cooling itself properly.
Yeah.
So I don't
And
know.
considering the size of the PS5 in general, you almost have to set it vertically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. There's not many places you can put it horizontally. I agree, especially if you.
It looks awkward
wanna get
horizontal.
proper
It's not really made to be
airflow.
horizontal.
And
is
in
it?
my situation, I wouldn't be able to put it horizontally because
Nah.
I don't know where to put it that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, already
outside.
my VCR Xbox One is hanging off
Yeah.
to the side, so it's like
Yeah.
Yeah. The PlayStation line down is bigger than a DVD player.
Yeah,
So,
that's insane.
I mean,
Yeah,
we all
it is
remember the
crazy.
OG VCR. Like, it was a massive console. It was huge.
Yeah,
And then,
I
The
mean,
PS5 is
modern.
way bigger
yeah,
than
Yeah, it's
that.
way bigger.
I look at
Yeah,
it next to my like. I went around to my friend's house and he has since sold his PS5 because he never uses it. He's still got a Series X though, but he mainly plays on PC. But when I went round to his place and I played on the PS5, so I was like, yeah, it's a cool console. Size wise, no thank you. But it just dwarfs things next to it. That's the
Really,
sad
no.
thing. It does. Like, makes things look really small. Like, I thought the Xbox Series X was going to be bigger than it was, obviously, and it was a chonky little thing. But then next to the PS5, I was like, oh, that's like, 4 inches
Yeah.
taller? 3 or 4 inches taller? 3 inches,
Like,
I'd say, yeah.
I get having to have the insides cooled down, but like the Series S does that just fine. And look at the size of it.
Yeah, so they're just showing, like, one of the... Yeah, the Series S is tiny, but, like, one of the things they're saying is, like, the PS5, like, the one that they got from the client, like, if you look at it, because the console was held vertically, you can see, like, the liquid metal's been pooling to the edges, not sitting solely on the actual APU itself. It's just interesting. Is my Series X plugged straight into a wall outlet, Ashtray? No, it is actually plugged into a surge protector thing at the moment, but I don't have that turned on. Because I know you don't need it. But I do have a lot of things plugged into it, so that was probably why my first one died. So I've plugged in less things to it.
What I love about the Series S is that if you leave it sitting without playing anything, it will actually cool itself down.
It does. It does.
Like, I'm actually amazed by that.
Drifting in the disc tray. What, Sappy? You've never had a problem with the console, but the PS5 rest mode's an issue. DualSense controllers are an issue. Disc tray randomly spins up when you're not playing what's on the disc.
I've never had drifting problems with thumbsticks, so I wouldn't know how that feels. So
When it happens to you, you will be horrified at how it's awful. I've had it. I had it randomly on my Elite Series controller when I first bought it, and then it just, I don't know what it was. Maybe it wasn't sitting right, but it's gone. I don't have stick drift at all any longer. But it was really weird.
So what happens on the screen when it does that? Because I wouldn't even know what to look for.
So usually what happens is you say you're pushing in a direction, like you're going forward, and then you stop pressing, like pushing forward on your joystick. Your controller continues to, like, your character continues to move forward even though you're not doing anything. Yeah, so that's
what I thought it was.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
I maybe could have had that happen once or twice, but so far in between that I don't even remember half the time.
Alright, okay. But Elite, does this mean, are you going to buy a PS5 now that you know that the liquid metal could potentially cause problems?
I think it would be more likely that I would buy one before he does.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. I would probably buy a PS5 before he does. Where's he gone? He's totally left us.
Oh, his cat was moaning about something.
Of course it was. You can tell I don't listen to Elite. Tech will mess up sometimes. I agree. Tech does mess up. Okay. Alright. Well, we'll just jump
back now. Sorry.
Do you have any other things you want to add at this point, Elite?
Yeah, I'm always going to promote myself. I did a video on this. We talked about this before. I did a video on it a while back, about a year ago, and we've talked about it previously. That Yeah, we've always said there was an issue. We always said about the overclocking of the system. We already said the PS5 has got a lot of flaws in it, didn't we? Technically, and that's why we wasn't going to buy one. We sort of pretty much said that we was either going to wait for the games or wait for a mid-gen refresh because there was just some obvious flaws with the PlayStation 5, and
It'd be interesting to know
it's
which
sort of-
version of the PS5, whether it's the refreshed version.
yeah,
or the
the
OG
refresh version, which they removed the heatsink, didn't they? Or reduced the heatsink.
They reduced it because it was like it made it lighter, and they were trying to be
Yeah.
smarter around the design and so on and so forth.
They were trying to cut costs. Let's be honest, they were trying to cut costs. So they
Gotta make
removed.
profit.
Yeah, they want to make profit. Cut some costs. They reduced the heatsink, changed the fan, and now we're getting issues with the heating.
Well,
So-
we don't know which console it is, so it's hard to speculate. I'm gonna
This
put
is
it
so
forward because
Weird too that they're having this issue because I remember PlayStation just used to be the one that never had those kind of problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I never really heard it about any issues with the PlayStation either myself. Until like I didn't really know there were any issues with the PS3 because Red Ring of Death was such a big thing. And that kind of overshadowed everything. And then later on, I found out that PlayStation 3 had issues. And then there were some minor issues on the PS4, but it was pretty much smooth sailing for the most part. Just like there was a lot of smooth sailing around performance on the Xbox One. Minus the fact it was gigantic and weaker. Yeah. But both consoles.
Of course,
yeah,
PlayStation was solely owned by Sony as far as being in Japan and everything.
I was going to actually do a video on those things, on the whole
They
Red
were
Ring of
small
Death thing.
too.
Yeah.
They were small. Oh crap, I just dropped something. Sorry.
Ow.
If you heard that.
Right.
Guys.
Yeah, we did. It was really loud. But yeah, I'm going to drift on to the Unreal Engine 5 demo from the Coalition because we sort of touched on this. Yeah, we touched on this briefly. Unreal Engine 5 demo from the Coalition running the Xbox Series X, showing what
Aside
next
from
gen
looking
engine
better
is capable of.
than the PlayStation tech demo.
You mean Douglas? You mean a tech demo that is exclusive to the PlayStation 5 and the PC and Xbox can't run it because it needs the SSD to run it? That
Right.
tech demo. Sorry, Douglas, because you mix in those PlayStation circles. Were the PlayStation fans saying that? There was saying that, wasn't it? That was when that demo originally came out. They were saying that this can't run the Xbox Series X.
His video about it.
Yeah. Because now they're denying they ever said that, but I was like, no, you was saying that it could only run on the PlayStation 5 because of the SSD, and that was it. But now they're denying it. And we've got Titan Drago. Hello, Titan.
But I mean, it's like you put them side by side in your video thumbnail, and it's clear to see that Gears 6 looks better. I mean,
yeah, the well, it was a in-game cutscene type thing. They'd done a cutscene, right? That's what it was. And the other demo was playable. But I don't know if they did the open world section. But, I mean, people are comparing the image to The Last of Us Part 2. And they're saying, like, God, this was done on a 1.8 teraflop console. And this is done on a 12 teraflop console. I know which one I think is better. And they're, like, saying, like, can't wait to see what Naughty Dog does next. Because they've set a precedent. And they're expecting the
by
next
their
game to be
logic,
even better.
9 or 10 teraflops should be doing better, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is their
But-
logic, yeah.
Hello.
Sorry, trying not to cough on the thing.
Also, I should point out that Gears 5 looked the way it did on last gen hardware.
Yeah.
It did.
I've not seen the demo. I've seen screenshots which
Fraud.
PlayStation fans have posted. Yeah,
That's
I've
just
not watched it. I
rubbish.
was meant to have
That's
watched it,
rubbish
and I
that
remember
you
watching
haven't.
it. Yeah, but I've been listening to too many podcasts, They take up all my time now. Podcasts. All I do is listen to when I do a lot of driving. All I listen to is podcasts now. Just because it's easy to listen to. It's sort of sometimes it's just better music. It's sort of nice to just sit and listen to people chat.
I mean, technically UE5 is exclusive to PlayStation 5 as far as we were aware of when the first tech demo showed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was told.
Sort
Like,
of
this
thing,
is
yeah.
only coming.
That's what I was told, and that's what I've tried to put on Twitter. Yeah, they won't have it. They deny ever saying it.
And when are we talking about these guys? We are talking about the very toxic part of their community who will say anything to get a win and make them feel validated in their purchase. There are very much great PlayStation guys in their community who have level head on their shoulder, and so on and so forth. But like looking at this, and they're downplaying this demo. Dorless? Busy laughing. They're downplaying this demo and comparing it to The Last of Us Part 2 and so on and so forth for that character. Oh my god, why can't I think of the word for it? But the character models. And the sad thing is that there are people in the community on Twitter saying that this is underwhelming what we're seeing from the Coalition, who helped make the Matrix demo that everyone got to play on the PS5 and the Xbox, and it was on PC, I'm pretty sure. But the Matrix demo worked on the Series S, and so on and so forth, and that had ray tracing in it. And they're trying to say that this demo was underwhelming, and I'm like, you do realize that you're complaining because it's the Coalition, which is an Xbox studio. And this engine is a third-party engine which anyone can use, and there are PlayStation developers who are going to be using UE5. They're just trying to show you what the engine is capable of. So downplaying a demo like that is just stupid. And even the Xbox guys were trying to downplay PlayStation demos and so on and so forth. Like, it's an engine that is going to be used by both sides. So just get over yourselves and stop trying to trash the developers over it. The engine is there for everyone to use, and the games are going to look great. I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see it. But this is what I was talking about earlier about the Coalition working on a new game. I think they're going to work on the Gear 6, but I think they're going to work on something else. And I think this is sort of alluding to that kind of thing. But I've not seen the demo.
They have enough studios to do it, so
they do, yeah. But does it look next world? Does it look fantastic? The
Next
demo.
gen? You mean current
next gen? Current gen, or just does it look beyond anything we've seen? Because I mean, we've seen Hellblade 2, and I know you get the PS fanboys saying, like I don't know, every game looks better apparently on PlayStation. And they're even saying Last of Us 2 gameplay looks better than Hellblade 2 gameplay. But does this look like will blow anything?
They said it wasn't gameplay.
They said Hellblade 2 is not gameplay; it's cutscenes, and which sort of exposes them as how good the game looks.
They never can make up their minds on what.
When you're not when you actually convince yourself that the gameplay is so good that it's a cutscene, that's when you know the gameplay's that good. Let's be honest. But they just can't grasp that.
When you convince yourself of one narrative, and then that narrative gets blown to pieces, and you create a new narrative that contradicts your first narrative. Yeah, basically, it's interesting watching what's happening in our community as we're all gamers. Yeah.
But do you think? I was just going to say, because I don't watch the demo, and this goes to chat as well. Does it look like? Let's look at all the previous demos of Unreal Engine 5. Does it look better than everything we've seen so far? Is it like? Because we know the Coalition now working with Epic to do this. So does it look spectacular? Also, the other question is. Oh, go on. Sorry, go on.
I think it could look better than what it does now. Actually,
I agree.
Because it said it was not representative of actual
gameplay.
The actual game. Well, that doesn't have to mean a bad thing. Like that, everybody seems to be painting making it out to be.
I mean, it's not going to make your eyes melt and fall out of their face. Like, it's not that on that level. I mean, yes, it does. I think it's representative of what we can expect UE5 games to, like, games running off that engine to look like this current gen moving forward. That's what I think it's representative of. I mean, these are just demos and they haven't had a lot of time to do much. Like, they've been working on these demos in, like, very small teams and so on and so forth. So get a studio like the Coalition, who's got years and years and years behind them on using Unreal Engine itself and the iterations over the years, and they're learning and coming up with things around the UE5 engine that they're telling Epic to add in or make changes and so on and so forth. So I think, like, for what it is now is a snapshot of the engine because it's releasing and developers who will be able to start using it. I think when we actually see games that finally release, it's going to make a huge difference.
Here's the thing, like, these are all next-gen only games as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Everything Xbox is launching now is next-gen only. So,
because like they were saying in the beginning, they were going to have a 2-year window, and after that, everything was, Yeah.
And that window's over now. That window closes when Red Dead 4 releases. Because
I thought Halo Infinite was the last game that was going to be cross-gen, right?
Yeah, it was, That was the last game. Now, all games going forward are now next-gen only. Or this gen only. Whereas, this is, as we know, PlayStation's still pushing the cross-gen games until 2023,
which is so funny.
2024.
I remember they were so against cross-gen games before.
Yeah, and now they're all for it. But now they're actually pushing cross-gen and think, that's okay, it's normal. It's good that you're on here and you can understand sort of the hypocrisy we have to put up with, the flip-flop. But yes, I'm really hyped for seeing what this has to be.
I think I'm just having a gaming midlife crisis.
Yeah, I think you're being converted slowly. You're slowly turning green. especially when Starfield. I think when Starfield drops, I think if it's called Starfall, I think it'd be the end of the game because it just seems like anything that ends in the word "fall" is a disaster. When
you were such a fraud by saying Starfall.
Yeah, Starfall. when Starfield releases, I think that will be the show of next gen. I think we won't see next gen until that drop. Right? I think that's going to blow minds, and I think that's why they're holding. But it's a new engine, and I think they're really holding back on it. And I think the PlayStation fans are so desperate to push them, show gameplay, they're so desperate. And I'm glad they're holding off. I'm glad they're saying no, you can wait, motherfuckers, shit. They're very much like that, and they're just holding back, and they're going to wait till it's time. And I think more developers should do that. More developers, they shouldn't be put under pressure. They should hold out and release when they're ready. And Bethesda, because they're professionals, that's exactly what they're doing. And we won't see anything now until it's ready.
Xbox used to do that back in the day too, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what people forget.
Oh, we've got to forget. But you got to remember now. We don't forget that. But now this is a new Xbox, and now people need to learn.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is a new Xbox now. But the PlayStation fans are still trying to pull them out, going, no, show us now, show us. We want gameplay. No, they don't put the same pressure on their own devs. They're quite happy to. No, just show it when you're ready. But Xbox is always under a different set of rules, isn't it? It's always we need to see this now. Otherwise, they're not good.
They were the ones that originally came up with the quality over quantity phrase.
Yes. And they're trying to say quality over quantity, and now with PS Plus, gonna have once now joins into it and have over 700 games in the premium. They're like quantity. Yes, it's just interesting. Ashtray would like you to say that, please, Elite.
Shit, he loves it. I miss you, Ashtray. Yeah. I did. Well, I went away for a pee, and I was just saying shit to myself. And I just imagine you was next to me while I was doing it.
Could you not?
Because I miss you.
Can you not say that all live ever?
Oh,
Just
okay.
don't imagine someone sneaking in while you go into the bathroom. Just don't.
So I have my arm around an imaginary person. Like, he's like my bruv, my
But
bro.
I
I
agree.
was like, bro.
Try
He's like,
hard.
dude. Was like that.
I'm against cross gen for the most part, in the sense of like, obviously the first couple of years it's fine, but like, because those games have been developed on previous
2022, yeah.
But
It needs to be next gen.
GT7. Imagine if that wasn't cross gen. And it wasn't intended to be cross-gen, but with the shortages and with the pandemic and so on and so forth, they did have to make concessions and so on and so forth.
I'm starting to wonder if they're actually having a shortage.
A PlayStation?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
If they're just making it out,
I think this is just an excuse.
Yeah. And I was going to say about GT7, the game was never going to be PS5 only. I think that was just lied to sell consoles, because they said that about they said all these games that were released in 2021, they're all going to be PlayStation 5 exclusive. Please buy PlayStation 5, and then when everyone bought PlayStation 5, and it's like, actually these games are not coming out until 2022 and they're cross-gen. Not sorry. You can't make a game exclusive to a next-gen console and then change the coding so it's completely compatible with the last gen's console. You can't do that. The code, it had to have been coded from day one. Yeah. So I mean, you can't. Yeah,
it defeats the purpose of buying a PS5.
Yeah, it does. But they didn't want you to know that.
Do you think
in 2020?
I mean, you're saying shortages. Everything has a shortage. I agree, but they try hard with you. I just think it's just interesting.
I mean, that's what they would tell you.
Where the hell is my compressed air? Sorry, I just have to punish my cat. 1 moment. In a nice way. I'm going to use some compressed air on him to scare him.
While Red goes up and punishes a pussy, we'll carry on talking.
My cat!
So,
thank you.
It's the same thing.
Fuck you.
Oh, they said that, not me.
I disagree that it would have had to, because that's not what they said it was going to be.
No, I think Sony did mislead people at launch.
Yeah, they did,
and they did. There's no two comments about it. They led the game to believe.
I mean, you know.
All right, okay, but there are some other games. Oh my god, I lost my topic list. Arc 2 came out after the announcement of the Unreal Engine 5 officially releasing, and Arc 2 came out and said that their game is coming out on Unreal Engine 5. Is anyone interested in Arc 2? Because that's the one with the
Yes. Shall I go more into it?
Yeah.
Shall I talk more? Yes, well, you know, because I'm a massive MMO fan. I've got there's something stupid like 400 days in Arc 1.
I've never played it.
Yeah, damn. You never played it?
Nope.
It was on Game Pass.
Yeah, but you remember watching the Digital Foundry videos for it being on last year?
Yeah, it released the preview. Yeah, it released its preview, and I think that's why they've got it exclusive. Arc 2 is exclusive to Xbox.
Well, I'm just glad it's on Unreal Engine 5, because that engine is very scalable for, I guess, what they're wanting to do.
Well, it is, yeah. And it's being, I think, produced or published or whatever by Vin Diesel, isn't it? He's thrown his own money into it because he's a massive fan of the game. Yeah.
That's a big deal for me, actually. I'm kind of surprised that he was going to be in it.
Yeah, he's put himself in it.
I mean, that last game that they had, his likeness in, the Need for Speed game.
Yeah.
Let's not.
And I almost thought it was going to be a Riddick game when I saw him in there.
It would have been cool.
Because I could have sworn his eyes looked black at one point.
I've actually got. Do you want to hear a true story about Vin Diesel? I actually met him. Not really met him.
So you met him when you didn't meet him?
Well, I went when I was in Mexico.
Sounds like PlayStation marketing speak right there.
Yeah, I know. I stayed at this hotel in Mexico, and it was a really plush hotel. Tom Daly was there. Anyone know Tom Daly? He's a British swimmer, Olympic swimmer. He was there with his husband and his kid. But we were sitting there, sort of people were crowding around him, and then Vin Diesel sort of just walked through the pool. It's like one of those big pools where you can sort of walk around it. It goes around sort of the complex. What they call them? They call like lazy rivers. No, like lazy rivers, I think they call them. And he just sort of wandered through, and he had a sort of a bounce with him, big guy with him. And I sort of, me and my daughter clocked him. We was like, yeah, and he looked at us and sort of smiled and sort of give a nod, like, yeah, we are. I am who you think I am. And we sort of just looked at him and sort of smiled with that, and he just carried on walking with his bouncer and just carried on wandering around the pool.
The only person I ever want to meet in person is Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, I think she'd be good fun.
She's like, oh, I love her so much. She's so cool. But anyway, so UE5 demo, I'm super keen. We've seen so many things on it, and Hellblade 2 is like the game that I can't wait to play. That game is going to be fire on
What's with the Ark?
engine. Nah, just get off Ark. It's fine. You can play it when it comes out.
You don't give a fuck. No, Ark 2, right? So Ark 2, we're all hyped for Ark 2. Aren't we? Let's be honest. No, it's a big MMO game. It says actually Ark is a massive MMO game. It's still played, but it's been. Personally, I don't really like the developers. I don't like the game. That's why I quit it, because it's got a lot of. Also, with the game released on preview to Xbox, it come to Xbox first, preview via preview program thing, which Sony never done.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I think that's why they've got it exclusive now, because they obviously made a load of money off Xbox and PC. Because Sony said no to it. Apparently, they did go to Sony, and Sony said they weren't interested in the preview version.
Speaking of exclusives, you know what I've noticed with PS5?
No.
A lot of their JRPGs that came out in previous gens aren't a thing now.
You mean like Persona?
Fading that.
Is that what you're talking about?
You remember like the ones from NIS and like all those other companies that they have?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a massive JRPG fan.
No, not mine. No.
But like, I'm seeing this shift away from Japanese-centric games to more westernized.
They're based in California now, and they know where the money is.
Yeah.
They know Japan's not where the money is. I think that's why.
I would agree with you.
I think Sony realised. Yeah.
Moving over. Yeah, I haven't.
But I'm also seeing more Japanese games now coming over to Xbox because of it.
Like, I think I'm gonna give when it comes out on Game Pass next year, Ghostwire Tokyo a go. Probably, I probably won't. I'm a bit of a wuss when it comes to anything horror-ish esque. So I'll probably cry. I won't, but I will. I might. I'm gonna give it a go. Support the developers and so on and so forth. Persona 5 is a must play. If it came to Xbox, I would probably play it. But yeah,
I'll definitely give Ghost Psycho. I'm still. I think Deathloop was one. I think when we went through last year's E3, whatever it was, I think Deathloop was the only game I see at Sony's presentation that I liked. I think that looks fantastic. That's my kind of game. And then it was announced that, and then Xbox obviously bought the studio, and I was like, yes.
I want to play.
So that's the game I'm looking forward this year.
That's what I want to play. That's the only game.
Stray. Yeah, what's happened to that? That's gone silent, isn't it?
I don't know, but getting back onto the real world. So we're talking about new games and other games in development and so on and so forth. But this week, Remedy Entertainment came out and said that they've entered an agreement with Rockstar for a new Max Payne 1 and 2 project. I've never played Max Payne myself, so who's excited for this?
I'm very much excited for it because I haven't really played the first ones in a long time. I mean, I remember playing it back on the original Xbox, and then again on PS4, I think it was.
Oh, because the developer, I remember that video. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Just that I can't wait to see what it looks like on new hardware because I think it's well deserved, honestly.
I think people
At least for the first one. I haven't even really played the second one.
So what are the games like? Because I've never really played them. I've never really interested in them. Because I imagine they're like the medium. Is that kind of style of game? Actually, I think they was on Game Pass. I think they were on Game Pass. I think I loaded up the first one, and I remember walking around the church or something like that at the beginning or something. I think there might have been something to do with it. But yeah, it was too slow for me. Are they like the medium? Are they, Dawners?
Oh, how did I like it?
No, is it like the medium? The games, yeah.
Oh,
Are they similar? I wouldn't know.
to Max Payne, you mean?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad you asked that because, as far as the first one is concerned, kind of.
So it's kind of like the first one, but not the second one?
If we're talking about the medium being compared to the first one.
Interesting. I'm excited. I mean,
Because, yeah, I haven't even played the second Max Payne, so I wouldn't know what that one's like at all.
but you'll probably get a chance now to play the second one. Somewhat, because it sounds like they're going to reboot it, or just maybe reskin it. What do you reckon?
I just hope it's not like similar to Max Payne 3, you know.
I haven't actually.
I hope that it's on a new engine and everything, you know.
Well, it's interesting that they're in an agreement with Remedy, because I don't know what Rockstar's doing. It just doesn't feel like they're releasing a lot of games other than just remasters of games that they've already released and milking the hell out of everything.
Yeah.
But I will probably give this a go. I think that's quite cool that this has just been announced. And I like Remedy as a studio, because I loved Quantum Break.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like Quantum Break. I played that and I didn't mind it. I actually like the cutscenes. Yeah, I actually like the cutscenes, the movie cutscenes. I actually quite like those. I thought it was quite well done. And it's a shame it didn't get more recognition. But that's when, unfortunately, the game come out, like Rise and stuff, got a lot of hate because that's when Xbox was being hated on. So there was a lot of really decent games that got shut on, which is unfortunate. But because Dynamics are doing a new Tomb Raider.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Which is exciting.
I don't get those. I've never played any of them. Is that wrong?
What?
Is that wrong, Douglas? I've never played any of them. I've never played any Tomb Raider. I've never played Tomb Raiders. I don't care for them. I don't like them.
What are you doing with your life?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Don't tell Red. Shh.
You mean to tell me you never played Tomb Raider at all?
No. I've never been interested.
Elite doesn't really like single player games.
Between you and me.
Multiplayer games.
I like competitive games. I don't play single player games,
really
and this is never.
He's a paid shill.
I will try Indiana Jones when it launches. I will try that just because Indiana Jones. I'm intrigued to see what that is.
Okay, so I'm not a big fan of the original Tomb Raider games. I'm not.
If I had a decent British voice, I would say that's a problem, but
Yeah.
You have a problem.
It's rubbish.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
It's rubbish.
But like you haven't even played
The
the
daughter say
reboot
she.
of the series. Oh my god.
at least you could have played the first one. Like
Could have played them
from
there.
2013.
I've been around for a long time.
Why have you not even played the one from 2013? The reboot.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was done by Crystal Dynamics, who is supporting on.
Okay.
What's
Full
the
story,
Make a big thing of it, why don't you?
Here's a fun story. I used to have the first Tomb Raider all the way to Chronicles on the PC.
So have you played all of those that were on your PC?
Kind of. I mean, not so much Chronicles, but I did manage to make it to that one.
And have you played the new ones with Camilla Luddington or Camilla Luddington?
Oh yeah, I want to say I'm a fan of those more than the originals, but I like both, honestly.
Well, I've played some of the originals, and I wasn't a big. I don't know. Just the movement just seemed super unrealistic. The way she jumped and the way that's what I couldn't get past. And then
that was due to the hardware limitations, but
yeah, when Daryl Gallagher did the reboot with Crystal Dynamics, obviously head of that, for Tomb Raider in 2013, I loved that game, and I bought it.
That and tank controls were a thing back then, so
yeah, because I played it on the 360 originally, and then they released the definitive edition for the Xbox One, and I played it again there. And then I thoroughly loved Rise of the Tomb Raider and also Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Still, my first one would be just the Tomb Raider reboot in 2013.
You know, I don't get the hate for Shadow for whatever reason.
I like the stealth. It just didn't have a lot of gunplay in it. There weren't a lot of enemies. There were a lot less enemies.
That one's kind of a callback to the originals in that regard.
Sorry, I was just cutting. Grey Mold says, turn your volume up, Red Dead Panda.
My volume?
Last week. He said, yeah, your volume, yeah. Ooh. I think he's got quite last week. Grey Monad. Sorry, Grey Mold. Grey Monad, you see in the chat? Yeah, just... Anyone else?
Is that any better or worse?
There was a reason why it was a callback, because, you know, she's getting to where she's becoming the Tomb Raider that we know, you know, as far as like the originals are concerned.
With her
and in the storyline, because if you look at the cutscene at the end of it, you know, you see the butler and everything.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I'm glad, because they said it was done as a trilogy. And as a trilogy, it was going to be her origin story about how she became the Tomb Raider that we know and love. And you, like, at the end of the first game, she finally got the 2 guns. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And then that didn't show up again later. I think
what's going to happen is they're going to do another, like a remake of the first original game.
Yeah, I personally think the games should have been much darker and much almost like.
I could be wrong, but that's my speculation.
When you say you think
possibly wishful thinking.
When you say that you think they should be darker, are you talking about the new games?
When they rebooted Tomb Raider, I personally think, kind of like what they did with The Last of Us 2, I personally think Tomb Raiders should trump Uncharted, because obviously now they're in direct competition with each other.
You haven't played the first
reboot,
I mean, it was.
I know, because I would have played them. I think if I, as I said, I would have probably played them and went to them if they took them far more adult. If they just cranked it up and made them sort of not quite 18, but if they cranked up to the point where I think they made it much more realistic. And kind of like The Last of Us 2, and just made it, I don't know, kind of like an 8-rated game and much darker.
My homework for you is to play the one from 2013, the reboot of Tomb Raider.
At least that one.
At least that one. That is still my favorite out of the 3. I guarantee it's really, really good. And it is a lot more gritty than some of the other ones.
Like, I understand not wanting to play the original games, but come on.
Definitely play that one. But I'm super
excited.
They're
Game Pass, they're not on anymore. They were, weren't they?
They're super cheap. That game's been out for forever, so you could probably get a really good deal on maybe all 3. But I
can't play them. I suppose I have to buy them digitally
Yeah.
because I've still got, ain't got the Xbox Series X yet. Yeah.
You'll be able to get one. It's becoming more available. But I guess the other thing, and I just want to kind of chuck this in here, is there is a new Monkey Island game coming out as well. Like, I love Monkey Island.
Yeah.
We were talking before the show, and Dauntless was like, "It
That's
shows your
old.
age if you know." When we're
It
talking
does.
about
Monkey
a
Island's a
Monkey
mod game.
Island game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's old school. Monkey Island's old school. Yeah. I
I
think.
just
Yeah.
like Stan, the guy in the
Old
plaid
people
outfit
that
with
try
his
hard
arms
for
going
anything.
everywhere. He was such a great character.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've never played the Monkey Island games, so
Oh, you're not. Oh, you're not. Oh, okay.
I had.
Yeah.
so there you go.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the same boat you are in.
I've played 4 of them. I've played the 2 arcade ones that came out, which was slightly redos, like a remastery type or re-release of the original, and I've played more of a 2D I don't know, and then there was the 3D one I've played. So I've played like 4 of the Monkey Island games. I haven't played any of the Tales of Monkey Island, but I really do like Monkey Island. It's hard. It is a hard game to try and figure out what to do, and like you have to be very purposeful about how you play the game, and it's not very handholdy at all. Pointing, clicking, figuring out what to do. Yeah,
That's my point about old games. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
When people
Speaking
say
of games that don't hold your hand, have you played Myst by any chance?
Yeah, I've played Myst. Yeah. Is that showing my age too? The
Probably.
we had it on our old like Packard Bell like desktop PC.
Oh, Bell,
back in the
Packard Bell,
90s.
yeah.
Our old PC came with a copy of Myst. So it was like 1995 or something. I don't remember. So I don't know if that was the first version. But then they've have released a couple of iterations of Myst since then. Yeah, but I think I
Like you
prefer.
want to talk about cryptic, like
I preferred Monkey Island just because of the banter, like the insult sword fighting and all this other, like the joke with Murray, the talking skull, the whole way through, and like the fact that Guybrush Threepwood is an idiot and basically should never be a pirate because he's useless. I loved it.
R.
Okay. Last topic, because you know we've been going for quite a while, longer than usual. U.S. senators, 2 U.S. senators mainly, the only ones that I can think of. I think
Here we
there's
go.
like 4. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are wanting to delay the Activision Blizzard acquisition with Microsoft.
Wow.
And that's kind of caused a lot of kerfuffle in our community, with people who are against it and people who
That's
are
putting it
for
lightly.
Yeah, that is putting it lightly. What are your guys' thoughts?
Alex done a video on it, didn't he?
I have a lot of thoughts around this, yeah. But what are you guys' thoughts?
Go on, Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Keep it.
Do you agree? Do you disagree with it? Or do you think that they're just being... There's lots to say about this, right?
Oh, how to unpack this?
I mean, if you wanna think on it for a moment, because it is
With
it's
a
like,
straight face,
yeah.
how do you even go about it? Like, I mean, the amount of have to believe it was an April Fool's joke because it was on this
Same day?
one.
Oh, I think you're cutting in and
Didn't
out.
she?
Dauntless.
Yeah.
Didn't they all like posted on the first? Like,
I don't know what day this posted, actually, to be honest.
Was it last week? Or was it our show last week? So it must have been after. So it must have been Sunday. Yeah. Monday, maybe.
I think, didn't she?
I'm not sure. I think you're cutting in and out on us, Dauntless.
Yeah.
Because we're only hearing bits and pieces at the moment. But we'll just see.
That always seems to happen.
All good. Elite, what are your thoughts on this topic? Do you agree?
I just saying to everyone in the comments, please drop a like and a sub to everyone's channels. But yeah, I think it's kind of embarrassing, to be honest, from her to do this, because I don't think this is something a senator should approach or be involved in. I don't think it's really got anything to do with her. What they call it? Because I'm obviously not American, so I'm not entirely clued up on all the lingo. But is it the FTS or something that's getting involved in it and is dealing with what's happening?
Don't ask me.
Nah, but what I gather, yeah, they the thing they approach is how they just want to make sure the gamers are happy and sort of is not monopolised in the sense that Xbox doesn't take over and then hold stuff back, which they've already said they're not going to do, and then restrict stuff and stuff like that. But I'm not sure what her approach is, because she seems to be going down an approach which seems to be more. I don't know. She's coming across as she's got an agenda, because she's giving the impression that Microsoft are going to ruin Activision or make it worse, or that kind of sort of route. And I don't think it's going to do her any favours in the long run. I think Boom, I watched his podcast recently and he touched on it with, I think it was Gaz. And he said he commented to her comment, and she's got something like 10 million subs or followers or something like that, but only 17k liked her comment, and the rest were dislikes against what she said. So clearly above Xbox fans, everyone was just thinking like, what the fuck are you on about? Whereas, and then he replied to it saying, basically, he's like, she shouldn't get involved, yada yada, and how she's wrong, because they were saying about Microsoft. I think he posted links to Microsoft being in the top 10 companies in the world to work for, yada yada yada, and he got 11,000 likes. So he almost got more likes than she did, and he only has like 10,000 subs compared to her like 10 million, which speaks volumes. I think it does look like she's trying to make a point, and I think this is an American politics, and I don't want to push into it too much, but they do tend to want to push in a direction that thinks that gets them votes and do stuff that brings them into the limelight or gets them clicks and stuff.
Political agenda.
Yeah, a political agenda, and I think that's what it looks like. It just looks like clearly she's got some form of political agenda, and also for some reason people seem to hate on Microsoft because they're a big company in America. And I've said it before in a video, and I heard it recently in another podcast.
This isn't the same Microsoft though from 20 years ago. A lot of people are still under the assumption it is, but it's definitely not. But I mean,
it's definitely not.
Looking at this situation and taking out the fanboy rubbish in there at the moment is what they're saying is they really don't want this to be swept under the rug around the sexual abuse allegations, harassment, retaliation against those people who are making allegations against Activision, because it's being looked at in a federal and state investigation. And wasn't there an announcement last week that one of the payouts for Activision was like $18 million, and that's one lawsuit against them? So they're just concerned that this means that the work that's going into fixing the problem is not going to be fixed with Microsoft acquiring. But I don't think Microsoft would acquire Activision without putting steps in place to protect that and like make sure that the people who are causing the problem are gone, and the people who or rehabilitated or whatever that looks like, and they're making sure that the people who they now employ under them are being well looked after, and you can be safe to come to work and be yourself. So I get the fact that they, like, as a female, I understand that side of it. Like, they don't want this just to kind of the harassment stuff to kind of not.
Well, I don't think that's why she's
forward
doing
with it.
that.
No,
I
that's
don't
what
think
they,
that's
that's
doing
what
that.
she's
Yeah.
officially said. They're worried about the fact that it's going to exacerbate all of this, and that these people are not going to be held accountable. And I'm like, you can go after the individuals who are involved. That doesn't have to be just. That doesn't have to stop. You can go after those individuals who are involved. But when it comes to what Microsoft's intention behind the acquisition, I don't think it needs to be delayed or stopped. I think they need to come to a compromise around making sure that those people get justice and those people who were involved get I guess raked over the coals as they deserve. Yeah, so I think it's an interesting topic. Like, in my opinion, I don't think the senators really should be weighing in, except on only about the stuff to do with the allegations and go after the people involved around that. Yeah, they're right to say that. But I don't know. It's an interesting topic to talk about and think about. I don't know what it is, but like everyone's Microsoft. I think they've been very clear around their stance on certain things, and I think Phil is very intentional around the companies, and they're saying they're going to let them work autonomously, but they're not going to allow that crap to kind of breed and go rampant, because devs don't want to work for a company like that. And I mean, a lot of developers have come out in support and gone, "Oh, yay, we're glad Microsoft is taking us."
Yeah, they actually said that, didn't they? When they took over, they said employees at Activision were actually happy, and they had a poll, didn't they? And they wanted to be taken over by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So,
But Dauntless, do you
go
have
on,
anything
sorry.
else that you want to add? Hopefully, you stop cutting in and out. But yeah.
Yeah, I basically agree with what you said.
That's just interesting.
Mm.
Interesting.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what to think of it myself, but yeah, you made good points about it.
It's interesting looking at this as gamers, because we don't want to potentially delay the merger and impact what's going to happen around there, because we want to play the games and we know what the intention is behind what's going on. Obviously, I don't work for Microsoft. I'm just coming from a purely impartial, free opinion, freedom of speech, guys. But yeah, they really need to come with a compromise and work together around this, rather than just going, let's delay and like throw the hammer down and throw the gauntlet down and go, actually, we're grown adults. We can have a discussion and put things in place to go, we're happy to put this merger through. Let's put some things around, guidelines around what we need to make sure that these people don't get away with what's been going on. And it just
that's why I feel she's done it more for the clicks, because she could have easily, as a senator of this, approached Phil or whoever at Xbox and said, we've got concerns, yada yada yada. But to put it out on social media, I think that's just a weird approach as a senator, I think. And I don't think she's done herself favours. I think if she's looking for votes, I don't think it's going to go her way with this stance, I think, personally. If I was a senator, I would have done this. I wouldn't have done what she done.
FYI, Dauntless, Ashray just said, go into your Discord settings and turn off noise gate. That could be what's cutting in and out of your audio around that. But
That's a noise suppression.
Maybe it might be what it is. But you are running off your mobile, so that also could be part of that. Yeah, I don't know. Not much more to say, because that is our final topic, guys.
It is.
For today, and shout out to everyone who has joined us live. Appreciate the support, like, share, sub, etc. And thank you, Dauntless, for jumping on like last second.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You probably were very nervous. I remember when I got chucked on my first one, I was like, and just spouting a whole heap of rubbish.
I always am when doing these.
But it's like what, 6 o'clock now your time? Is it 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Central?
Am
I wrong?
3 minutes before.
Oh, it's almost...
Whereabouts are you? Whereabouts are you, Dauntless?
Yeah.
In the States?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Okay. It
Gosh.
sounds like
Or as I like to call it, Kansas.
Yep.
it sounds like a villain out of a game, Arkansas. No. Do you think it sounds like sort of a villain you'd get in an RPG game?
Does anyone else have any questions in the chat for us before we start heading out? And
Come on, try hard. You lightweight. Give us a question. Give us something hard.
I love
Something
it.
hard.
That's great. But Dawn, let's just remind everyone where they can find you before we start heading out. Yeah.
Yeah, here on YouTube, Dauntless Dragon X, and on pretty much everywhere else, except on Xbox, it's just Dauntless X.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's the same picture, so you'll be able to tell it's him.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we'll need to have a gaming session. I think I got you to download Halo Infinite so we can play some multiplayer. Cause
Yeah, you need to get on with us. We have a good old chat. We get a good party going. I tried to get Tryhard in last time. Remember, I even sent him an invite, but he's a coward. So
you're a fraud. No wonder he didn't want to join. You're a fraud.
But yeah, get on. We're good to get a good group of us in there. We're trying to get. I think we're trying to get a massive group. I think 12 maximum get party chat now. Xbox, so it'd be good to get a good group.
It'll be good to get a good group. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to play some custom games. Elite, what about yourself? Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on YouTube or on Twitter. I'll give my Twitter.
Pretty often.
You can find me on Twitter. I don't know my Twitter name or anything. It's weird. It's something like Gamer something. Or it's weird. I don't know what it is. I think I've got it somewhere
It's
on
right,
the.
It's right on the
Gmail account.
screenshot. It's right.
Is it on the screenshot?
Like,
Oh, it is. It's there.
Yeah.
There we are. It's in the top left corner. I'm just on the game in green. That's where you can find me on Twitter. You can find me there on Twitter or on YouTube. Yeah, I need to do some more videos.
Most of the time.
I do. I spend a lot of time there.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time there
Dauntless can agree,
debunking
Elite
Dauntless.
spends most of his time on there trolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than me. Who knows?
Yeah.
But appreciate this, Ashtray. Fingers crossed. I don't know. Are we doing a show next week? Because it's Easter, long weekend next week. So I don't know if we are doing a show next week.
I'm up for a show next week. I'm up for a show.
We might do a. Yeah, we could. But the
Ashtray's rash is gone.
Yeah.
I'll be up for it.
Just bleached asshole.
Yeah, if he's bleach. If he's got a nice white bottom.
Oh my god, you're so.
Well, if I need to fill in for him again,
Yeah.
let me know.
You're in the Discord, so there you go. Mike Oxlong, say my name. There you go. I said it for you. And just for Others Inc. and everyone else who always harasses me every week, I'll say it one more time. But rubbish for you guys. I have to say it when I'm being like on a rant because then it has that connotation that everyone likes.
Rubbish.
But yeah,
It's pure rubbish.
pure rubbish. It's trash. Shit.
Say shit.
But as always, I mean, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Xbox Live, so just flick me a message. I am on YouTube, but I just do nothing on there because I don't have the time at the moment. But yeah, as always, thanks everyone. Comment if you think Elite's a fraud in the chat. Just, agree. Just put that in the chat before we go. Or just put it in the comment section on the video. Or DM him that he's a fraud on Twitter, please.
Yeah, I'd love that.